Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with Rich Hosford, BNEWS Director. BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, and Liz Gillespie. Peter Brown with the weather. Maddie Shipka with Community Calendar. And doing double duty today as the sports anchor is Liz Gillespie. Who's up for pizza? Frank Pepe Pizzeria Napolitana has opened its doors, bringing old school flavor to the Burlington Mall. Frank Pepe started making his coal oven tomato pies in 1925, and now his traditional style has made its way to Burlington. BNews reporter Tad Stefanak has this dish on the subject.
The coal-fired pizza oven is fired up. Frank Pepe Pizzeria Napolitana has opened its doors in the Burlington Mall with a traditional pizza experience for the whole family.
Well, Frank Pepe's Pizza is so special due to our not only our own special ingredients, but also from our coal-fired oven that's been built the same way, built brick by brick since 1925.
Table 25, please.
Family run, Frank Pepe's makes sure to maintain its long-established standards of quality.
Make sure that the family is still heavily involved in that, making sure the consistency of the product is consistent throughout every location, and making sure that the heart and soul of the product is instilled into every single one of our pizza cooks and every one of our waitstaff.
The reputation of Pepe's Pizza precedes itself with local foodies.
I have a food Instagram. It's called outtolunch_Boston, and I've been waiting for this to open so I could post all about it. So our pictures will be posted later today, and follow to see more food around this area. Honestly, surpassed my expectations. I've been waiting for them to open, and this was amazing.
So you'll be back?
Definitely. We'll definitely be back.
Head over to Frank Pepe Pizzeria Napolitana at the Burlington Mall.
Coming down and have some great pizza, have a great time, and come to meet us.
And enjoy a family tradition. For BNews, I'm reporter Tad Stefanak.
Also going on at the Burlington Mall has been the construction of a building where the old Sears Tire used to be. Simon Property Group has announced that the structure will be known as the Village at Burlington Mall. The Village will launch this September with the premium European coffee house Cafe Nero. The second Cafe Nero location at the Burlington Mall will offer Italian-style espresso-based coffee and freshly made deli food with a welcoming coffee house feel. The Village will also consist of over a dozen new tenants with a variety of restaurant options. Phase 2 of the project is scheduled to be completed in 2020 and will have significant exterior improvements. According to Burlington Mall General Manager Justin Feldhaus, Burlington Mall has been an iconic shopping and dining destination in Massachusetts and throughout New England, and the Village at Burlington Mall will only enhance our shoppers' experience. Additional details, including dining, retail, and services, will be forthcoming as the project progresses. Burlington's dedication to the American Cancer Society's signature charity event, Relay for Life, has been admirable for some time. Here now with a look at this year's fundraiser is BNews reporter Liz Gillespie.
For years now, teams of Burlington residents have taken part in the American Cancer Society's most successful fundraiser, Relay for Life, where teams walked the track overnight to symbolize the ongoing fight against cancer. As member of Team Happy Feet, I took the opportunity to talk with some participants between laps. Event organizer Amber Anthony. What got you involved in Relay?
I lost both my parents to cancer, and so whenever I was able to find a job with the American Cancer Society to give back, that's what I wanted to do.
That's awesome. So how much preparation went into this year's event?
It takes 9 months to put together the one-day event for 500 people.
And so how has cancer personally affected you?
Both my grandparents, both my grandfathers, and then my grandmother had cancer, and my aunt had cancer.
Oh, that's so sad. So how long have you been doing Relay?
This is my second year doing it, and I didn't do it last year, but I did it the year before.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
I got involved through my Uncle Frank. He has brain cancer for about 10 years now. Yeah, he's actually right here.
Oh.
Yes. So he inspired me to walk for Relay. I started as a volunteer at the raffle tent, and I figured I would join a team and form it and get all my family and friends to come join and walk for Relay.
Wow, that's awesome. So what got you involved in Relay?
So my mom has been a captain for I think about 7 years, and and for one of her friends that passed away from cancer, who is a mom of a girl in my brother's grade.
After a day of games, activities, raffles, and good food, luminarias were lit to remember those we've lost, celebrate cancer survivors, and show everyone who's been affected by cancer that there is light in the darkness. If you'd like to make a donation to Relay for Life, call 800-227-2345. From Varsity Field at Burlington High School, I'm BNEWS reporter Liz Gillespie.
Burlington Superintendent of Building and Cemetery Division Richard Reed passed away Saturday morning, June 8, 2019. He was only 54 years old. The school committee Steve Nelson spoke highly of Richard at their last meeting.
The town of Burlington lost a long-standing employee by the name of Richard Reed. He worked for the cemetery division for many years. Talented guy. He worked his way up into the DPW. I think he was the second in command over the DPW behind Mr. Sanchez in terms of buildings and maintenance. I've known him myself for probably 30 years, and you'd never meet a nicer guy. And so my thoughts and prayers and condolences go out to his family, and if we could just have a brief moment of silence, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning all that.
Lifelong resident of Billerica and a graduate of Shawsheen Technical High School, where he studied automotives. He went to work for the Burlington Department of Public Works in 1987. For the past 32 years, Richard worked at Central Maintenance, Highway, Water, and Cemetery departments before being named Superintendent of the Building and Cemetery Division. He loved his work and refused to let others know how sick he really was so he could continue working. He had worked up until he was hospitalized June 3rd. He took a proactive approach to building repairs and maintenance, saving the town tens of thousands of dollars. His fingerprints are all over the town's facilities. He was very active in the labor unions as well as Billerica Elks. For many years he had his own business, MKR Construction, where he built new homes in Billerica and Amesbury. The town of Burlington has lost a great employee and a friend with Richard's passing. The full obituary is available at the Sullivan Funeral Home website. At their latest meeting of the Board of Selectmen, they unanimously approved a parking plan for the Human Services Building at 61 Center Street. The handicapped parking situation at the facility has been an issue of ongoing concern and discussion. Recently, DPW Director John Sanchez, Council on Aging Director Marge McDonald, and a representative from the Disabled Access Committee met with town meeting members to preview the proposed handicap parking plan. The plan calls for 10 handicapped parking spots, plus 2 spots designated seniors only. 5 of the handicapped spaces would be at the building's north entrance, along with the 2 senior-only spots. The remaining 5 spots would be located at the south entrance. The board approved the 10 handicapped spots and 2 senior-only spaces, as well as voting to relocate the parking spot for the Council on Aging shuttle bus. Board member Mike Runyon stated, "I think this is a good meeting of the minds. It meets the needs for the time being." The Board of Selectmen will be touring the 61 Center Street property to get a better idea of how the new parking plan is going to work. In our ongoing series of Who Works for Burlington, where we talk with town employees, not often in the spotlight. In this latest edition, BNews Director Rich Hosford visited with Senior Building Inspector John Luther.
In our quest to bring you the stories of town employees you may not see or hear from often, we present the next installment of Who Works for Burlington. This time I went to the building department in the Town Hall Annex to meet with Senior Building Inspector John Luther. He's been with the town for almost 4 years, but has 18 years in the building inspector profession. I started by asking him about the high volume of work the department sees.
Here, with this such a large commercial base in town and a lot of houses being torn down and rebuilt, we do about, between building, plumbing, electrical, gas, sheet metal permits, we do about 4,000 a year. We're about the same size as a decent-sized city.
John says he splits his time between working in the office, where he likes to arrive early when everything is quiet, and time out in the field doing inspections. We decided to hit the road and check out a construction project in the works. While en route, he talked about his past experience as a general contractor and how it helped him prepare for his current position.
People don't realize that, you know, all the guys that work in the office now are tradesmen, worked in the field. We know what you're doing and why you're doing it. And we've done it before, so it's makes things a lot easier for us, from our side of the counter. That if people understand that, this isn't the first thing we've ever done. We know what we're talking about. We're professionals at this. And if we have a concern, it's usually for a really good reason.
Some of those concerns arise because switching from doing the work to inspecting the work of others can be quite eye-opening.
How it works when you're being the contractor versus checking on the contractor. So there's a lot of different things going on, and you find out real quickly that not everybody does the work as good as you did, so you may have issues with quality and types of work. So it's a challenge some days.
Challenge or not, the work of a building inspector is vital to the safety of the community because using the wrong materials or building something incorrectly can lead to disaster.
Make sure that everything is all up to current code, so that you won't have a collapse, you won't have a disaster. Our biggest focus is on public safety to make sure that nobody gets hurt at what they're doing. And we deal in worst case scenarios. For the average person, they will never have a disaster in their life, which is a great thing, but what we do is make sure that it won't happen. So it's a pretty important part of our daily operations to make sure that everybody's safe.
With Who Works for Burlington, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
It's that time of year we've all been waiting for. The Burlington Town Clerk's Office has announced Shredding Day in Burlington to take place Saturday, June 22nd. It's a great opportunity to rid your household of old unwanted documents containing personal information, junk mail, ATM receipts, old bills, etc. The Shredding Day will take place in the parking lot behind Town Hall from 9 a.m. until noon or until the truck is filled. This is a free shredding service for Burlington residents. ID with a Burlington address on it is required. You are allowed to bring 2 boxes of paper. Your 2 boxes can be any size as long as you can carry them. If you have any questions regarding free shredding, please call the Town Clerk's office at 781-270-1660 and talk to Amy or Linda. The Windermere Family Theater is an educational drama program open to kids in 8th grade and above. This month they will be performing the musical Urinetown, based on the book by Greg Cotis. BNews reporter Robert Paris has a look at the fresh perspective on one of America's greatest art forms.
The Windermere Family Theater Group are back, and this time they are inviting you to a comedic musical. This week, I went down to the Park Playhouse to meet with the cast and crew of Urinetown, based on the book by Greg Cotis.
So this is our Windermere Family Theater summer show. We're doing Urinetown, the musical. It is basically a send-up of our gluttonous American lifestyle and a whole bunch of Broadway shows in the middle. It's very funny. I have a mix of adults and kids in the cast, which is really cool because when you put them together, they learn from each other, and it's really cool.
I had a chance to speak with members of the cast and who they will be portraying.
I play Pennywise in Urinetown, and I am in charge of the poorest, filthiest amenity in town.
Well, I'm playing Senator Phipp, who is a kind of a wussy, corrupt senator who he takes the money to get what the evil villain of the show wants.
So I actually play 2 different roles. I play Pa Strong, which is the father to the main character in the first act, and in the second act I play Hot Blaze Harry, who's definitely much more involved with the show and is a little more prevalent throughout.
I play the role of McQueen, who is first right-hand person to the president of the company that controls the water, so the Richie Rich.
So I'm Dr. Below. I'm a scientist, head of the UGC. And I just hang out with all the rich guys, and I just kind of like go along with them. I don't really have very many lines, but one of my little lines in one of the songs is men in lab coats with test tubes and steam, and that's really who I figured out like what everything was.
The cast and crew members are looking forward to performing Urinetown for all ages.
It's really reflective of the gluttony of America, and I even deliberately cast the authority figures as adult white men because it's really reflective of how we're living. And so I really kind of put some social justice in the show, underscoring some misogyny, and and the kids love it. the kids, they're justice fighters. They want, down with patriarchy, so they're all for it.
From the Park Playhouse, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
The official start of summer is fast approaching. Here to tell us how summer-like the weather will be is our own meteorologist, Peter Brown, with the forecast, followed by upcoming events on your community calendar with Maddie Shipka.
Well, hello everyone, and this is Peter Brown with a look at the weather for the next 7 days. And I know it's hard to believe that we are already looking at the middle of June. We're only a couple of days away from the official start of summer, and we're going to be, unfortunately, starting off our period here with, again, really nothing that we haven't seen much of this past spring or so. Temperatures well below our average highs, and that's going to also come on Thursday with the chance of some pretty heavy rain here in the Burlington area, maybe on the order of 1 to 2 inches with those cool temperatures again, only getting into maybe not even out of the lower 60s. That high that we have on there might be a little bit generous coming up, and of course, as you can see, we're going to be well way away from our extremely high record highs in the mid and upper 90s, and that doesn't look like that's coming to our area anytime soon. And as we round out the period, getting into just about the start of summer, our average highs are starting to approach 80, and we're going to see the temperatures are going to probably top out about near that as we get towards the end of the period, maybe a little bit cooler. As you notice right here, our days are at the longest they get for the time of year. Now, going ahead, instead of looking at our temps and precip coming up for the next 7 days or so, which is something really that isn't going to be changing much, we are now being in June at the start of hurricane season again. And we're going to show you just an overall review of what the hurricane season looked like last year. Now, we didn't see a ton of storms affecting the United States, but of course the two, Florence and Michael, that hit did some incredible damage. Florence in the South Carolina, North Carolina area with feet and feet of rain, and then we had Michael down the panhandle of Florida. That was almost a Category 5 when it made landfall. So we had some pretty impactful storms last year. Hopefully we're not going to see anything like that coming up in the end. Hopefully nothing like that coming up towards us here in the Burlington area. Now as we move ahead, let's take a look at what we're expecting for our temps and also for our weather for the next 7 days. And you're going to see it's going to be pretty much about the same that we've been seeing for the past few months or so. We're going to see that spotty chance of rain showers each and every day almost. Now again, starting out on Thursday, we're going to look at that really heavy rain coming into the Burlington area. That's going to last probably most of the day, probably as you get into the later morning going into the late evening. Again, 1 to 2 inches of rain probably for our area, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, and some pretty cool temperatures. Probably, again, that 65 is probably pretty generous. I would say let's think about keeping it probably around 60. Now, as we get into the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday time frame, looks like we're going to have much better weather than we're going to be having on Thursday, but looks like we're going to have to put that chance of some spotty showers into the forecast again. But temperatures getting back up into the 70s, and actually getting into Saturday and Sunday, we may actually be seeing temperatures flirting with 80 again. So we might see a really nice start to the week on Saturday with a chance of showers coming back in here when we get to Sunday. Now, starting out our work week on Monday, looks like the skies are going to clear out again, going to be very pleasant. And then again, towards Tuesday and Wednesday, the end of our period, looks like we're going to be introducing that chance of some light rain again, and temperatures, again, below average for this time of the year. So really no surprise there. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
I'm Maddie Shipka, and this is your Community Calendar. It's time for another Summer in the Garden. On Wednesday, June 19th from 6 to 9 p.m. on the first floor of the Human Services Building, the Board of Health will be having an event called Gardening in the Climate Change Era. Gardening can be a great way to enjoy the outdoors, get physical activity, and grow nutritious fruits and vegetables. Everyone is welcome and the event is free, but pre-registration is required. To sign up, call the Board of Health at 781-270-1955 or email boh@burlington.org. Enjoy a fun night full of surprises by a local magician. On Friday, June 21st, from 7 to 8:30 p.m., Anthem Church will be having an event featuring Keith Fields and Lady Sarah in a magic show called A Brit of Magic. Everyone is welcome and the event is free. The event will be held inside the Burlington Marriott. For more information about the show, visit anthemchurch.life/events. Are you ready to work out? On Saturday, June 22nd, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., 3rd Ave in Burlington will be having their very first Summer Sweat Crawl. There will be 3 25-minute workouts, a live DJ, and much more. Everyone is welcome, and the event is $20 per person. For more information, call 3rd Ave at 781-272-4000. I'm Maddie Shipka, and this has been your Community Calendar.
Red Devil sports are coming to a close for the 2018-19 campaign. Here now with a wrap-up of all the BHS spring sports action and highlights is BNEWS sports anchor Liz Gillespie.
Hey everyone, I'm Liz Gillespie for your weekly sports report. The spring sports season has come to a close at Burlington High School. All the spring sports made it to playoffs, but in the end, they couldn't get the job done. The girls softball team finished the year at 15-5 and qualified for a chance in the playoffs. The Lady Devils were immediately knocked off by the Danvers Falcons in the first round of the MIAA playoffs. Seniors and pitchers Christina Clark, Erica Carney, and catcher Megan Gerska move on from the team. The girls' tennis team finished their season with a 12-5 and qualified for the MIAA playoff tournament. The girls' season concluded with the first round of the tournament after being defeated by Concord Carlisle Patriots. Seniors Jessica Abrevea and Madison Metzdorf had a great 4 years at Rahanis. As for the boys' team, they finished with a record of 12-6 and lost to the Masconomet Chieftains in the first round of the MIAA playoffs 4-1. Parting ways after 4 years are seniors Jordan Kalichev, Samir Khalifa, Scott Stack, and Michael Winters. The girls' lacrosse team finished with a 4-13 season and just made the cusp of the MIAA playoffs. They went on to face the Chelmsford Lions, but unfortunately they were blown out by a score of 16-1. Moving on from the Marshall Simons Middle School, Brushfield, are seniors Amy DeLeo, goalie Allison Pinkham, defensive player Megan McDonald, and Madison LeBaron. Boys lacrosse concluded their season with a 13-5 record and lost in the first round of the MIAA playoffs to the Melrose Red Raiders. Seniors Jake Doherty, Patrick Hayes, Mitch Almeida, Connor Quinlan, and Lucas Tribuco are moving on from BHS after 4 years on the team. The Red Devils baseball team finished with a record of 10-10. They went on to face the Marblehead Magicians in the first round of the MIAA playoffs, but unfortunately lost a score of 5-2. Seniors and infielders Jake Doyles, Justin Mecenas, Matt Timon, and pitcher Cam Wheelock move on from the Diamond. The Red Devils track team finished their year undefeated with a score of 12-0. Carr and his team once again took home the Middlesex League Freedom Division title. Seniors Christian Boyachev, Jeremiah Burley, Nick Campbell, Brandon Casio, Tom DeRosa, Dan Downey, Scott Frazier, Ryan Giagas, Stephen Humphreys, Johnson Magata, Tim Pinkham, and Rashad Prakash are departing from varsity field after 4 seasons. The Lady Devils track team finished 3-2 in the Middlesex League Freedom Division this season, ranking 3rd. Senior Julia Hovas went undefeated in the league and won the 800 meter at the league championship meet. The team also reset 3 school records during the 2019 season. The sprint medley relay was broken by over 10 seconds with a new time of 4 minutes and 14 seconds. The 4x200 meter relay was broken with a time of 1 minute and 49 seconds, and the 4x800 relay broke the record with a time of 9 minutes and 54 seconds. Seniors Sasha Festi, Shaylin Gainley, Michaela Hunyet, Julia Hovas, Michelle Johnson, Emily LaRusso, Sarah Owens, Priya Patel, and Sydney Stevie have left BHS after 4 seasons. And that's all for your weekly sports report. I'm Liz Gillespie, back to you guys in the studio.
As is tradition, Burlington High School graduates partied all night long at the all-night grad party. King's Dining and Entertainment on 3rd Ave once again provided the venue. The event was a way for the class of 19 to have one last hurrah together. BNews reporter Robert Paris, joined by graduating seniors, has this report.
The caps were thrown high up in the air. On Sunday, June 2nd, Burlington High School held the graduation for the class of 2019 at Varsity Field. Many memories were reflected that day, brought on by the class president, valedictorian, and the Burlington School Committee. But the class's farewell was not done at Varsity Field. Later that night, students attended the all-night graduation party at King's Bowl on 3rd Ave, where the class was able to sign yearbooks, say goodbye to friends, enjoy food, and a variety of games and activities. We had a chance to catch up with a couple of students and find out what they'll be doing this September.
Next year I'm going to be going to UMass Dartmouth to study computer science.
I'm going to go to UMass Lowell and study mechanical engineering.
I'm going to be attending Loyola University in Maryland. I'm majoring in kinesiology and I'm also joining the marching band.
University of Rhode Island. What are you gonna study? I'm currently registered for business management. Might switch to criminal justice though, not too sure.
I graduated from BHS and I'm going to Tufts for computer science.
In closing, as students part ways, each of them will carry lifelong memories from the halls and classrooms of BHS.
What I'll miss most about high school, just the friends, the community, everyone's nice and friendly, social.
Probably just all the events, you know, the dances, the pep rallies, the sporting events, you know, just being together with the entire class, you know.
I'm definitely going to miss the atmosphere. BHS is super competitive, fun, and involved. I'm definitely going to miss my friends I met along the way too, so it's surreal.
Honestly, a lot of the people here, I'm going to miss a lot. Even people I don't know that well. Just seeing the same familiar faces around the school, it's just kind of comforting, I guess. You know, the same people, you know, in classes making you laugh.
I would have to say all of the personalities. A lot of good personalities in this class. Love this class.
You guys are a great group, and I have no doubt you're going to do great things, and I wish you guys all nothing but the best.
From Kings on 3rd Ave, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's entry is from Rabbi Susan Abramson. The picture features Burlington Superintendent Eric Conte, together with the principals of all the schools in the Burlington school system, along with a couple of school committee members, and Rabbi Abramson met with Imam Shakil Rahman at the Islamic Center of Burlington. They toured the facility and had the opportunity to learn more about Islam and the local Muslim community. They had a discussion about the needs of the Muslim community and how the school system can accommodate the needs of all the children and families in Burlington. Okay. That's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford. There we go. BNEWS reporters Robert Paris, Chris Flaherty, Liz Gillespie, Peter Brown with the weather, Maddie Shipko with community calendar, and Liz Gillespie with sports, doing double duty. Thank you for joining us.